From Washington, D.C., this is the Beyond the Dumbbells Show, your source of information and inspiration for living an audacious life. Hear interviews and social banter with special guests on Fitspiration and news from around the globe. Here are your hosts, fitness and lifestyle experts, Brian and Jenny Sweeney.
What's up?
Yo, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Good.
We got a great email today on our last show, and it really lifted me up. I'm not going to say who sent it, but this person just took the time to say how much that the content we've been putting out has affected the way they think. Mm-hmm. So this is it's a gracious feeling to be able to keep doing this, and every time we do it, it's work. I mean, putting these things together and getting them out timely is work. But once we get rolling and these things get in everybody's hands, it's worth it.
Oh, I absolutely agree. If we say it every time, if somebody can one person just has even a positive thought throughout the day, or they get something out of it, then
makes it worth it.
Yeah.
It's awesome. So
people are waiting for the hammer to fall like usual.
It's no hammer. I'm trying to find a nice way to ease this in without any lube. So we're going to, the training models that are out there, the way people train. And we obviously, fitness isn't just about weight loss, it's about lifestyle. Mm-hmm. And it has become its own thing. There's fitness and then there's lifestyle, instead of people looking at it like my fitness serves my lifestyle.
Right.
There's very hard lines in everyone's choices and decisions, and the nutrition strategy you align yourself with. The type of exerciser that you are has a tribe. Where you hang out on the weekends and how you support your goals moving forward can be either antisocial or social. I mean, it's just none of the circumstances in our culture are designed to support just lifestyle. Mm-hmm.
Very true.
It's a word that's thrown around a lot, and I don't think anyone understands what lifestyle means anymore, except I think it's interpreted as you do what you want.
Yeah.
Lifestyle means you happy? That's your lifestyle. You know, if you want pumpkin bread and super chocolate lattes every day, then that's your lifestyle. Mm-hmm. But we emphasize a lot on running challenges through the gym. And it beats the snot out of the way traditional gym relationships start, which is you join a gym, you go figure it out on your own. If you need help, you pay extra. There's not a lot of, the front door person is not going to ask you if you've gotten all your macros in that day.
Right.
The person passing by you in a traditional gym isn't going to be like, hey, have you been sleeping well? Those things don't happen in a conventional gym. Mm-hmm. So we run challenges with the idea being that if we can help somebody lose the weight on the front end, give them everything that they need, then the rest of the relationship, a little bit more tweaking, but it's mostly maintenance. But the start of that relationship is, let's get the weight off first. That's the priority, is to get you back in alignment and get you conditioned. Mm-hmm. But the majority of gyms don't operate that way. It's maybe if you're lucky later, you'll figure it out. And sometimes you'll see those people, they're obsessive about that type of an environment because the only element that is there is the fitness piece.
Correct.
And we talked at our challenges, there's no real good word for it, but you have to have the exercise, you have to have nutrition, and then you have to have an accountability system. Mm-hmm. The system can start at the gym, but it should never end at the gym.
Absolutely.
And it gets kind of funky when your trainer is kind of implying that the lifestyle you live is working against you. Hey, trainer, that's not what I'm paying you for. I'm paying for you to get weight off right away and then go mind your own business.
Right.
But as trainers, we're invested in the long-term picture more so than the clients. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. But what it's looking like now, and we see people now that we have seen and we've worked with in the past, that even though they're still doing the pound the fitness thing to death, it's not working anymore. So they're running on top of all the training and on top of all the fitness. And what I kind of wanted the direction of the show to go is there still confusion about what works?
Definitely. I think as with everything, there's so much information and so much misinformation out there, or somebody adopts practices with their fitness that somebody else is doing, but they're adopting somebody else's patterns, position and everything on something that person doesn't have an education to really lead them there.
Oh, there's a lot that does that. So the spokesperson for what they're following might not have. They may have never been fat in their life.
Exactly.
It's like, hey, listen to me. If you want to get healthy and fit, either they've never been healthy or fit themselves, or they've never been overweight to understand what the transition feels like.
Exactly. Or somebody saying, you should absolutely do an ultra marathon. These are the steps, and you find out later on that their idea of a run is not running.
What do you mean?
So like here's your plan to get you from, from walking down the block to running an ultra marathon, but they've never actually done it themselves.
That's
so
awesome. I could write a lot of plans like that.
So they're not actually qualified. Or you find a friend that's teaching you movements that maybe they can repeat what their trainer said, but they're not qualified to make a tweak or a change or to pay attention to something that somebody could get an injury from.
So everything you're saying kind of leads into the idea that for people to adopt or become healthy or to transition to healthy, that you just have to kind of follow somebody's guidance, and that guidance usually might not be worth salt.
Right.
Okay. Now, what I'm seeing, and we've talked about it, is the fitness isn't enough.
Correct.
If all you had to do to sweat to stay within a healthy body composition, we wouldn't have a weight problem.
No, not
People
at all.
are active as hell. I mean, the walkers, the runners, the obsessive fitness types at the gym, everybody should have an 8-pack if that's all it took. And the perversion is Men's Health or Oxygen Magazine, or you get into these publications that's got, the jacked dude or girl on the front, and it's like, this is my get ripped workout, and there's 6 exercises in the 80th page.
Yes.
And they're doing a thruster, a push up, and something stupid.
Yes.
And like, this is it. This is the 300 workout, and this will get you ripped. If you only have fitness, it's not going to work. I just sent an email out to our list about this. If you do, the other 2 pieces is nutrition.
Yep. Huge part.
We harp on this all the time, and we're going to talk about it again today. So, if I had my way, we also mentioned that if I had my way, I would try to create a movement that says, if you are only bothering the gym, you're wasting your time. And so anymore, if somebody approaches a gym and they're like, hey, I'm looking to get fit. Yeah, no problem. We got classes all day long. You do this. No. I understand the class model. What else are you going to do for me? It's well, you look kind of lean. Maybe you don't need to do it. No. I'm talking about on the inside and the outside.
Right.
A 6-pack would be great. What can you do for me to make sure my blood work comes back okay? Boom. 90% of the gyms aren't qualified anymore to have that conversation.
Oh, big time.
But how many of the people aren't even interested in having that? The clients aren't even interested in having that conversation.
Well, I think we've come across a ton of people that it's like, I just want to get strong.
I just want to get toned.
That's all that really matters. I just want to, or they have a short-term goal. I just want to fit into this dress on this date, or I just want to get my 6-pack when I go to the beach. Or so it's like I will starve, I'll do extra cardio, and I'll get to that date, and then I don't really care anymore.
There's no long-term vision.
Right.
And this is a product of the 80s and the 90s where it's just like, diet your way lean.
Yeah.
And those idiots like Richard Simmons and those pinheads like Dr. Oz, they all put that in people's heads that there's a shortcut.
Right.
And that once you get there, it's a handoff with an exploding baton. So imagine somebody running around the track and they hand you a stick of dynamite. Nice job. Boom. You've got nowhere to go because they're back. Now they're on to what was Oz's thing when it was raspberry ketones.
Yes.
I mean, there was all this stuff out there that was just like, oh, it's not your fault.
Oh,
Exercise alone should do it. And if that doesn't do it, take this magic pill.
Oh yeah. There's just, like we said in the beginning, there's just so much misinformation, and we're human. And the last thing that I would want to hear come out of, your mouth if I was a client was, okay, we can get you to your goal. Give me 6 months. I'd be like, I want 6 minutes.
Yeah.
What do you mean 6 months? I don't want you to tell me the truth. I want you to tell me that I can do an onion diet and that I'm going to keep those results forever.
Is that real onion?
I have no idea.
There's only one I haven't heard of. I was like, if you heard of another one, because I've heard of banana diet and potato diet.
I thought of an onion. It popped in my head.
And apple cider. I mean, there's some wackies.
Yes. Now I'm going to look it up. See if there's an actual onion diet.
Makes me not want to eat. But So when we see people struggling and we see what gyms are getting away with now and what the industry is saying, I mean, you can do fitness on demand right into the house.
Definitely.
And our conversation with new clients is always like, look, you can go get your workout anywhere.
Yes.
You know, the key thing to working out, it needs to be different, and you have to sweat regularly, and don't get hurt.
Yes.
You know,
Of course,
so if that's it, then guess what? The only thing you're doing is being active. Mm-hmm. Fitness, this is going to mess you up. Fitness isn't a weight loss system.
It isn't.
That alone doesn't get it done. You're doing by being active, you were designed to be active. So to be inactive is abnormal. Mm-hmm. To be active, you're satisfying the minimal requirement for your animal body. Mm-hmm. Your body's designed to run, play, work. It's supposed to do everything, except we're chair bound now.
Right.
So when someone's like, well, I'm doing great, man, I'm working out. Dude, that's like saying you're breathing. Mm-hmm. There's nothing special about you working out 5 days a week because you breathe every minute of the day. So there's no extra credit for that. You're supposed to work out. Right. You know, you don't have to do CrossFit. Mm-hmm. I mean, you can change what you do.
Absolutely.
But the activity and part of the misinformation is that, well, if you do something, it's good enough.
Oh, yeah.
Like the walkers.
Well, you know, it's funny. And so I don't know if you've noticed that I've been wearing 2 different devices sometimes. So I wear one on my right and one on my left. And I started playing with it because I wanted to see what the difference would be in steps. So I'm sure people can figure out which ones I'm using. But so I was playing with it and I was like, okay, let me see what the difference is. And I had one day, and this is going to sound like BS and it's not, there was a 7,000 step difference.
The Fitbit gives it up more, doesn't it?
7,000.
Yeah.
So people who are, I will never knock walking in a million years, but people who are using that as if you walk X amount of steps per day, you have earned this many calories per day. I'm sitting down right now. I guarantee you that I'll get at least 30 steps right here.
So I told you this, I hit my 10,000 step the other day while I was going to the bathroom. It started ringing. I was like, what? I got the congratulations. I was like,
that's some sort of epic experience,
way to go.
honey.
That's awesome.
But it's just another one of those, you know, be mindful of if you think that the fitness is really all you need. If you think you need something to say, oh my gosh, you got your 10,000 step on the toilet. Now go eat.
It checks the box.
Yes.
And by the way, since you've hit 10,000 steps, you can go eat like a horse at a trough.
Right.
Because you earned it.
Exactly.
Okay, so when I was talking before about the minimum activity, and you don't have to do CrossFit, but also in the same vein, you've got people that they spend too much time, energy, and effort into one discipline of exercise.
Correct.
The body's a 3-dimensional thing, which means you should be moving 3-dimensional. That's the 3 planes of movement all the time. You should have strength, agility, and speed in all 3 planes of motion, right? If you only do standard bench press, standard lift, standard gym stuff, you're working typically in one plane of motion most of the time.
Most of the time.
And that's not to get technical about transverse movement around the shoulder joints. I'm not trying to be, so all you stump the chumpers that are going to try to be like, that's not true. It's the idea is that if you're sitting and you're pushing forward, a push-up resembles a bench press, resembles, a shoulder press. They're all the same kind of vicinity as far as the movement. If you're training 3-dimensionally, you're training for life, which allows you to pivot, turn, lunge, jump, run. Those things are what matter. And I'm not talking functional fitness like you need to go out and be an extreme knucklehead to be fit either, because that doesn't matter. But the key for the fitness, then we'll cover the other 2 kind of quick. The key to fitness, we already talked about, it needs to be different, needs to be challenging, and don't get hurt.
Yeah.
Okay. Now,
yeah, absolutely. It's a mix of things. You don't need to put yourself in one category and just stay there. It's a mix. Play with weights, play with body weight, play with running, walking, biking, anything. Number one, I think that brings you joy, but don't just put yourself in one bucket and think it's going to get it done. Do different things.
And I see what you were saying about do it brings you joy. I see that as something separate. So if your fitness should feed your activity, not hey, I'm going to dual hat this and walk around the park and that's going to count as my fitness.
Right.
Now the funny thing with the way the metabolism works, and this is way broken down. Your metabolism has a regulator. Your thyroid regulates how much energy your body needs versus how much it consumes. The thing senses and reacts. Okay, so super layman's. Now, if you've got a ton of muscle and you're very active, you're going to be throttled up, which means the more calories you consume, they'll be put to use.
Right.
If you do things that downregulate your metabolism, which means you barely move, you don't have a lot of muscle, and you don't eat, your metabolism comes to a crawl. The metabolism is like steering a huge ship in a small channel. It's not something that's sparky and moves very quickly, especially as you get older. So if you've been running for the last 10 years, all you do is run. Have you noticed that you've got to run more miles? Have you noticed that you've got to put in 7 days a week running in the silly weather and everything else, and you're barely able to maintain?
Right.
Runners don't look good.
Not if that's all they do.
Look at the crazy ones that win the Boston. I mean, it's always some Ethiopian that weighs 130 pounds.
Exactly.
There's no muscle mass on that person.
Right.
If you spend all your time doing that, aerobic activity, I don't know if many people know or care to know, when you're done doing aerobic, which means you're kind of panting while you're breathing, as soon as you stop the activity, the fat burning stops. There's no extra. It doesn't roll over. There's no spillage. So if you're running at a moderate pace, anything under 7.5 minutes, you're going to stop. The calorie burning is going to stop. There's nothing significant with your metabolism. If you're doing running where it's sprints and you're doing something where you can't breathe, borderline pass out, borderline you can't catch your breath for minutes and minutes and minutes, that has a ripple effect. Anaerobic training or high intensity training, there's a ripple that can last up to 72 hours depending on how long and the intensity of that time. So you can either go out and run for 2 hours or you can do sprints and intervals for 30 minutes. The running consumes your time, consumes your attention, chews up muscle mass. The intervals help maintain muscle mass, lots of payout, and then that lasts up to 72 hours. You're not going to do muscle wasting doing sprints.
Right.
Now with strength training, for those of you that only do the strength, you're only focusing on one piece, you're missing the aerobic, so you don't have any aerobic capacity.
Right.
So okay, I got my workout on, I walked on the treadmill for 30 minutes, and I went and lifted for 2.5 hours. You're big and bulky, but you run around the street and you pass out and die. Okay, so there's one doctrine over the other, and people get into these zones. You can lift all your entire life and end up needing bypass surgery.
Of course.
Look at Schwarzenegger.
Yep.
Dude had a bum ticker, probably the steroids, but a life of fitness.
Right.
And at the end of the road, it still didn't pay off. So if you want to have success with your fitness, you have to do enough that your metabolism responds in kind. There has to be demand, and you can't just do the cardio. You've got to do the strength training so that the more muscle you have, the greater the metabolism demand.
Yeah.
No muscle, no demand.
Yep. It was really cool the other day. Someone shared with me that their friend who was at the gym did like a challenge time frame with us, and that they had PR'd a major run by 2 full minutes and gave full credit to the fact that they incorporated strength training.
Strength training fed it.
Yes.
Yep.
Which I thought was awesome.
We've also had people that have left strength training programs to go train for runs.
Yeah.
And then after the 3-4 month program, they've come back and they can't do pull-up. They can't do a push-up anymore. They've lost all type of motor control and strength.
Right.
Size is just a side effect of strength. Size is nice, but that's what she said.
Well, I don't want to run the corner and pass out and die, as you said.
I don't either. Okay, so the first piece as to whether or not you're going to be fit and whether or not it's going to work. You go to the gym, you're active, it's variable, it's intense, awesome. The next piece is you've heard it before, you can't out-train a bad diet.
Yep.
So if you're still going to continue to go home and chug a bottle of wine, and by the way, the size that you pour is not a serving. Nobody listens to that. It's 3 to 5 ounces, right? Which is 2-3 shots of wine. I've never seen a grown-up pour 5 ounces, except us, because we're super lame.
Oh, we are the lamest.
Well, I know how much 5 ounces of wine is.
Exactly.
But if you go home and undo everything, you've got to create momentum before you're going to see progress. And the problem is people never give themselves the opportunity to create momentum because they counter everything they do with the bad diet.
Oh, yeah.
Hey,
How about I can't get out of my head? Our wine glass is literally sitting on our food scale and you measuring it out.
I know it's bad. I know exactly where 5 ounces is on those glasses. So I don't even need to scale if I don't want to.
I'm lost in my wine on the scale.
So when we talked about this, we always talk about things offline. The first bite tastes the same as the last.
Exactly.
The first sip tastes the same as the last. Why do you need 100 in between sips?
That's a different topic altogether.
Because I like it.
Yeah, I think, but I honestly, I think a lot more people care about what they put in their body than they want to admit. And I can say it because I know that I'm one of those people where you just say like, I don't really, you know what? I don't care tonight, but it's like, you really do.
You care in the morning.
And if you want to, the very limited amount of time that you and I actually get to work out, which is so funny. I want to feel the best. I want to be able to give it my all. And to think that I can completely jack it up by what I would eat for dinner or what I would drink after dinner, it's not worth it to me anymore. Like, I love having that. I love having a good balance.
You came to that realization. You're coming to it more and more as I've watched you get older.
Absolutely.
You're a little bit behind me. Mm-hmm. But it was also around 39, 40 when I started going. It's like, man, this trade-off is, I keep taking 2 steps forward and, 1.75 steps backwards. Like,
Exactly.
This is insane.
Exactly. And we enjoy, we'll say, naughty food, and we enjoy alcohol just like the next person. But it's like, ugh, I don't want to, it's not worth it for me to have a bad workout or be cloudy minded the next day or feel like absolute dog poop because you put all this crap in your body when I know that every other day of the week I have felt so amazing. It's kind of like, why mess it up?
I think that's key. What you just said is that you do have periods of the day where you do feel exceptionally productive. Yeah. You feel strong.
Yes.
You sleep great. You get up great. If you are living the last 4 or 5 years and you don't have any of that anywhere, it's easy for somebody to say, what's the point?
Yes.
This is normal for me. I'm just going to keep drinking. I had to break those chains myself, and once I got on the other side, I never looked back.
Exactly.
But I had to see what it was all about before I got there.
Definitely.
Okay, so we covered the exercise, and we're working on changing the mindset of the way people approach lifestyle, not just fitness, not just nutrition. They are interrelated, and remember it. Not all food should be eaten by all people.
Correct.
Everyone has intolerances, and there's certain things that the immune system is good with and they're bad with. And there's certain things that you've got some histamine responses to foods. Millie's getting some attention right now. But taking these two and interweaving them, don't keep them exclusive. It's not like, oh, my workouts and my nutrition's separate.
Of course.
I work out so my nutrition, leave it alone.
Right.
They have to be considered. While you're working out, you should have a plan on how you recover and feed yourself the rest of the day so that you're productive again the next day.
Right.
The last piece to this whole model is the accountability piece. And accountability is it's a weak word. Be accountable. Most people are not accountable. Mm-hmm. And especially in the face of peer pressure, social pressure, family pressure, cultural pressure, you have so many instances where immediately accountability disappears.
Definitely.
There is none. Accountability nowadays is basically you're standing alone, eating a salad while all your friends are doing everything bad that you want to do. So, of course, there's no accountability. Mm-hmm. When someone says you are the sum of the people you hang out with, the same applies to your fitness and your health. If you hang out with people that just jaw jack and goof off and walk and screw around, guess what? You're the lowest denominator to the new group. You're not going to put any more effort in than your friends and your peers.
No.
If your friends and peers talk about being in shape and being healthy for the pool this year and everything's great, but then at lunchtime it's pizzas and beers and wines on the weeknights, it's like, get away from them, because now you can see that we talked about nutrition and exercise being interwoven. Now we've got the accountability piece that gets woven in there as well, that if you don't have the accountability, the other two can't possibly work.
Exactly. And
the accountability isn't just the gym's responsibility. The gym's responsible to show you the path, but you have to create the environment when you go home. Family support, peer support, and then at work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's not you should end all your friendships if they don't adopt your practices, but there's no reason why.
Don't worry, they'll leave you.
Yeah,
You're not drinking anymore?
exactly. But there's no reason why you can't suggest a restaurant where you can make a good choice. And there's no reason why if they're real friends of yours or it's family, you really can say, "Oh, no thank you. I'm going to skip this tonight," or you really can. And if you can't, then just don't go out to dinner with those particular friends. Change it up and do something. Go see a movie or go be active and do something else, but just avoid
Meet
the
up after
scene.
dinner.
Yeah, just to avoid the scene that may be part of your downfall. That's a dramatic word, but
No, it sucks. And the hubbub is, I want to hang out with my friends, but they're all going to, pizza place.
Exactly.
It's like, dude, I already looked at the menu. I can't eat there. I'm on plan. You know what I've been doing. Well,
Exactly.
that's where we all want to go. So
Yep.
we'll meet you after. Just have a little bite. It's not going to hurt anything. You've been working so hard.
And I would be mindful too of a lot of people will call themselves, they'll be like, yeah, I'll be your accountability partner. But it's the same person that, when you lose the weight, they're like, are you going to reward yourself with wine? Or they bring you a present and it is a bunch of junk. And it's like, well, you deserve this. And
It's an enabler in disguise.
yeah, so be careful. We're great. You and I are great accountability partners for each other because we can go out and we know when it's time to just kind of shut it off and just, take part in a food or a drink that we usually wouldn't. But then we also are like, hey, do you want me to, I'm going to get this. Do you want this snack too? And we don't do the, hey, I know you're trying to watch, but I really want ice cream. So do you care if I just go through the drive-thru and eat it in front of you? Like, that's just not us.
Those people are out there.
It's always are you happy with where you are? Where do you want to go? And it's both of us. Can we both make a choice here that we want to? Neither is there judgment on our part as accountability partners, where if I was like, hey, I want to go get 10 fajitas and I'm going to put a bunch of dairy on and feel sick to my stomach, you're not going to sit there and be like, oh, yuck, I can't believe you did that. It's going to be awesome. If that's what you really want to do, that's great.
Sure, because the fallout is it's yours to own.
Exactly.
So if you end up having the digestive problems the next day,
Yes.
you learn from it.
Exactly.
Hopefully.
But that's where we are great with that, where it's like, let me warn you of what this is going to cause. We know that I have a reaction to certain things, or I know you have a reaction, and just say, hey, remember last time you ate that you felt like absolute crap.
Yeah.
If you want to do it again, I'll go with you. We're good. But I just want to make sure it's worth it for you.
Hopefully you have somebody like that.
Yeah.
So I'm going to work on a word and just try to bring these together. And it's the new model when you go into a gym and just say, hey, this is what I'm looking for. I understand you do fitness. So do the other 100 gyms within 10 miles of here. But I need something that's going to take me to that next step in my life, not
Yeah.
my fitness. And gyms that don't offer this or aren't prepared to offer it, your time is limited because the expectations moving forward, because the weight and health crisis is getting worse.
Yes.
The professionals that are going to still be standing in three to 4 years are going to be the ones that can do full service. And I don't mean full service like like it's a line item on something. You need to be able to deliver a long-term vision,
Yes.
not just a workout structure. I want a 500-pound deadlift. Great. How about not dying before 60? Is that on
Exactly.
your radar anywhere?
Yep.
And those professionals are going to go further and they're going to get more recognition and they're going to be more successful because you're actually doing something that's going to actually affect the person's whole lifestyle, their life balance.
Absolutely. And I would say if you're looking for a gym, be very mindful of, why a gym is more expensive and why a gym is less expensive. And just see perhaps a more expensive one, perhaps they're going to give you longevity. Whereas one that's less than that, you're going to get, awesome workout and instruction.
You get the fitness.
You're getting the fitness. So look for something that gives you a mix of all three of those because I think they're equally as important.
I'm sure 60 years ago, air conditioning was in a car was probably something people like, I don't need no air conditioning in a car.
Right.
And, now it's the standard.
Exactly.
Last thing I have to say on all this is I hear some people, I'm going to call them lamers, that they go the route of, well, everything in moderation. Show me your moderation, son. I mean, let me see what you call moderation.
Yes.
So I think the better word is that moderation implies that there's wiggle room. Give a little, take a little. I can be bad this weekend. I'll be good next weekend.
Yep.
Moderation. Balance implies discipline.
Yes.
So you can be across all three of those categories we talked about: your lifestyle components, your exercise programming and strategy, your nutritional strategy, and then your accountability and support system. If you're balanced across, if you're 75% across the board on all those consistently, you're going to outperform the other person, the moderate, every day of the week.
Yes.
The moderate's going to come into the gym hungover. They're going to come in with bloat and gas and gut problems because they went to the football game the night before and destroyed themselves. But hey, it's moderation. But the key to mastering this game is not moderation, it's balance.
Oh, I like it.
Thank you. Pulled it right out of my butt.
Kind of like me with the onion diet.
That's right. They both taste bad. All right. Any closing wisdom bits?
No, just find your balance between the three, and honestly, you need them. So you may be saying, "Oh, please, moderation is great, and I'm gonna keep running, and I'm gonna starve myself, and I don't need no running partner, and I don't need." You really do. And as soon as you have those three pieces and there's harmony, I feel like this is going to be a ridiculous statement, but I mean it. I feel like life gets better.
Well, let's be clear. You can fake the funk for a long time
Yes.
on just having one of those.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yep.
It probably lasts you for years. But sooner or later, you're going to hit that hormone shift.
Yes.
Guys, your testosterone is going to drop. Girls, you're going to hit the change. And guess what? What worked in the past won't work anymore.
Exactly.
And when you're unprepared to manage what life's going to throw at you at that point, when the fitness, it's like having a gun that shoots nothing but blanks. It won't work anymore.
Exactly.
And you're going to be scratching your head going, I don't understand what's up. This was always good to me. No, you just limped along a lot longer than you were supposed to. So
in other words, get ahead of the game.
Oh, man, especially, I wish I'd have done this in my early 30s.
Exactly. Yeah, don't we all? I was close.
You're still close. What are you talking about? It's not that long ago for you. All right, awesome. Hopefully this is received better than it came out. It wasn't meant to be condemning. It was more just expect more. Expect more of yourself and expect more of the professionals you invest and rely on, that they're looking out for a bigger picture.
Amen.
And there's no shortcut, Joe. All right, that's all I got.
All right.
Phenomenal. We'll see you in the next one.
All right.
All right, take care, guys.
Later.
Be true.
Thanks for listening to the Beyond the Dumbbells Show. We know you have thousands of options for content and entertainment. We appreciate you spending time with us. If you enjoyed our show, please share our web address, www.beyondthedumbbells.com, and maybe drop us a review. Until next time, live beyond.